Okay, my name is Dr. Harry Murray. I'm a DFO scientist here at Northwest Atlantic Fisheries Centre in St. John's. We're working on a project to compare the condition and health of mussels grown in shallow water versus grown in deep water sites. ACRDP, Aquaculture Research and Development Program. That's a funding program administered directly by Department of Fisheries and Oceans Canada, and it provides funding money for DFO researchers to work directly with industry. The grower, North Atlantic Processors, whose president is Mr. Terry Mills, Terry came to me with a question about whether or not we could start looking at the idea of growing mussels in the offshore. He's been playing around with the idea for quite a number of years.
My name is Terry Mills. I'm with Norlantic Processors Ltd. I'm the plant manager and farm supervisor, and I'm also part owner. We started about 7 years ago in this part of the bay, and we needed extra grow-out sites. And the only place left on the northeast coast was out in the deeper, say, the main ocean. We started doing some research on our own, some just commercial trials, and results were encouraging. We were growing mussels down fairly deep water. So we did it a few years. We looked at the results, and then we, obviously we were certainly out of our league when it comes to, we had to get some applied science to confer what we were analyzing, and so we met with some DFO people and met with Harry, got a project together, submitted it, off to the races.
We're out here in Notre Dame Bay in an area called Pleasant View, where we're looking at working on our ACRDP project to study the growth of and health of mussels in deep water versus mussels in shallow water, which is more typical. Deep water culture is not a new thing. It's actually happening in a number of areas around the world, but it is quite new here in Newfoundland. And the idea of going offshore is to increase the overall sustainability of the industry. As part of this project, we've been also collecting environmental data. The environmental data is important because the animals grow in the water environment, obviously, and anything that happens in that water environment is going to affect mussels directly. This instrument here is called an echo sound, and it's an oceanographic instrument that allows us to measure various environmental parameters like oxygen, temperature, salinity, and chlorophyll. We're going to be using it today to do an environmental or an oceanographic profile of the water column. There is some thought that there are areas in deep water that are basically concentrated food for the mussels. And if you can find a zone in deep water and put your mussels there, then the mussels should do very, very well. If you can find that zone, then the mussels will be in the optimum positions for growth and for health and very low stress. The other thought is that in deep water, the environment is a lot more stable. So the animals like a more stable environment. The more stable the environment is, the better they'll be as well. We're learning a tremendous amount. And over this period of time, we were able also to bring in a really fantastic graduate student over there, Daria Gallardig. She's a PhD student working on the project, and she's introduced a lot of really new, really innovative ideas to the whole project. Small.
What we are looking into is the physiological stress response of the mussels. So we are looking into some gene of interest that are related to, in particular, to environmental characteristics like temperature or salinity, for example.
This is the part of the work where we look at the changes in certain types of enzymes related to the environmental response of the mussels. We know from previous work that's been done that there are certain proteins and their associated genes that can respond to stress factors, changes in salinity, temperature, and such. So we're looking at a group of specific genes related to this type of system. So what we need to do is we need to sample from the gill tissue. We're going to freeze this and bring it back to the laboratory where we can run specific molecular biology tests on this type of tissue to let us know how these genes are responding over time. The results have indicated that mussels grown in deep water seem to do a little better than those grown in shallow water.
The project was certainly worthwhile from a science point of view and also from a commercial application to mussel farming in deep water.
This work is very important to the industry itself. As the mussel culture industry is expanding, the numbers of these shallow water sites are decreasing, and which becomes a big problem as the industry expands. So it's a good idea to start exploring moving offshore into more deeper areas so that we can maintain or improve on the sustainability of the industry over time.
There's still many questions to be answered. We got a lot of questions answered. And I think that this process and this project will certainly be advanced to other parts and other regions of Canada and probably anywhere in the world.
This is a mussel sock taken from our South Arm deep site. So the mussels were hanging from 15 meters below the surface for 12 months. And this is what you get. Fantastic mussels.